Hello there everybody and welcome back to another episode of Oxygen Not Included. Today we were going to go on a massive exploration and we were going to try and seal up some of the temperatures creeping into our base, which you can see from the temperature overlay. You can see it's quite warm in this section over here, which we might still end up doing today. We won't worry too much about this section for now, but we saw this little stone hatchling egg, which is really good actually, because stone hatches, we can actually have a look by grabbing one of the hatch and go into the database. Hatches will eat a whole bunch of different goodies, essentially. So dirt, sedimentary rock, crushed rock, etc. and give you coal at 50% of the value. Stone hatches though, we should be able to find this as well. So we can just go over here, type in stone hatch. Here we go. We can go to the database entry there. They will give you 50% as well, but they do eat quite a bit of your granite, obsidian, sedimentary rock, everything like that. And it's really worthwhile actually trying to ranch them. So that's what we're going to do today, is we're going to get that up and running. And that way we can also try and get off some of this mealwood by getting some barbecue, which I think will be a good idea. We've got some research going on, which has nearly finished. And as you can see, the dupes have just been tidying in the background. But for the first thing that we're going to do today is I wanted to show you some of these little oxygen stations I've been putting in place. So, because there's been a lot of carbon dioxide in this stairwell, this little tunnel section, I've just put an oxygen diffuser here with a storage bin with 5 tons of algae, just so that people have got some oxygen and they don't have to run up and down to try and get their breath. And as you can see, I popped one there as well. So we're actually going to come in here and we're going to try and break through here so that we can find out what's going on the other planet. There we go. Let's leave that one actually there. We'll get some of the ladders going, but we are going to need someone for super hard digging, which means we can actually start getting some skills assigned. So we're going to have a look here. Who is actually doing our digging? I believe it's Pixel. So we'll give them super hard digging. Jeff over here, he can get critter ranching because we're going to need him. Gavin's doing some grilling. We'll give him some carrying. I think that'll be fine. Duct, haven't really got anything for you at the moment, so we'll stick you into improved carrying as well. We'll leave Deoxys for a moment. No, you know what? You can go into Applied Sciences as well. And then B-Man, we're going to give him 2 points in improved carrying. We might give him critter ranching eventually, but for now, that will do. So I'm going to break in here. We're going to have a look at this. I'm going to get the research ready, and then we'll jump back in with some hatches. Alright, so with hatches, there tends to be multiple ways that you can design the ranch, or it's a stable. In this particular case, this is what the room that we're trying to make is. Stable critters can be tended to at a grooming station to hasten their domestication and increase their production. Now, this is a 96 tile room, which, as you can see here, these are 64 tiles. So it is quite a big building, which we are able to create fairly straightforward. But for hatches, there's a design that kind of everyone goes to. So that's what we're going to be building today. So we're just going to start off nice and simple. Just start with a base. I think this is the best place to start it. And we can kind of build a couple towards here, a couple on this side, and we can just see how it goes to start with. So what we're going to want to do, we need... Did I count this wrong? Oh no. Oh, it's because of this one. I was about to say, I think we got it wrong. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So actually this should be here. That's fine. We can sort that out in a sec. So we're going to want to start with a door. I'm always happy to go for a couple airflow tiles, and that's how we start this design. We can get them to start with it. We're going to need a grooming station, which we can place just down here. We're going to need a storage bin to basically bulk store some of the items that we want. We also then need a way to feed our critters, which I believe it's under food. We got the critter feeder just there. So place a couple down there. And then there's a critter drop-off where we can drop off some of our critters. And then we work out how much 96 tiles is going to be. So we can see 96 tiles. That's about there. So we can just build it something like that. Now, hatches have a tendency, and I'm going to leave this open for a specific reason. Hatches have a tendency, like here, they have a tendency to walk around. Which, that's what they're going to do in this stable. They're going to walk all the way down here, all the way back here. They're going to make a mess everywhere. They're going to have to come back if we want to groom them with the grooming station. There's a lot of bits and pieces that you kind of want to restrict their movements. And with hatches, that's pretty straightforward. You build a door there with something to block it, because they can jump over doors like this, which is quite funny. These guys are going to get themselves stuck very quickly, if you ask me. I'm just going to do that. Because B-Man is definitely having a bit of an issue. So, yeah. So we can do 3 blocks here, and that will actually restrict the hatch's movements to just this section, which gives us all this free space that we don't have to cover. We don't have to try and pick up materials from it. But what we're going to need to do is extend this by another 3 tiles. So we can easily just go 1, 2, and 3. And we'll put an extra block in there as well. I believe that's 100 tiles. Minus the 4 tiles that we'll have built in. Gives you 96. And because there's a gap here, it counts it as being the same room. Which is quite funny, if you ask me. Come on, guys. I knew you guys were going to get yourself stuck in this situation. It's quite funny, actually. I think they can build everything from there. We'll find out. Now, while they're building that, I have built a little bit of a polluted water pit, which we're going to just have over here. The bottle emptier is going to throw in the polluted water. Anything that we kind of want that's laying about, we can throw in here. And this deodorizer is just going to turn it into clean oxygen for us. Just another way that we can get a little bit of oxygen in this tunnel, which looks pretty good, if you ask me. So, on this side now, we're going to essentially span that room as well. Yep, that's okay. I was trying to make sure that the count was okay. Build a couple of airflow tiles there as well. And what we can do is we can take some of these eggs and we can throw them into incubators, which will just speed up the process a little bit. Which we should be able to find it under food. Got the incubator there. Which we're going to place a couple. So you know what? I'll just place the 1 for the moment. Because I don't think we're going to need more than 1 at the moment for it. You can see the grooming station thinks it's outside of the stable because the room is over 1,000 tiles large, which is not really the case. There we go. So our ranch is finished, which you can see in our storage bin over here. All we've done is we've selected sedimentary rock, and we're going to store as much as we can. And in the critter feeder as well, we've selected sedimentary rock. And the reason for that is we can't use this hatch to show as an example, but we kind of want hatches to increase their chances of laying the stone hatchling eggs, which you can see this probability increases when the creature eats sedimentary rock. So that's what we're going to do now. And we've selected the critter drop-off to make sure that it's dropping off hatches and hatchlings. We've put it as a 6 priority, which is good. And in a stable like this with hatches, they each like to have, I think it's 8 tiles worth. So you can have about 8 critters in here, which is pretty good. Which means we can actually start wrangling up all these extra critters that we got around here. Oh, we got another one there. I think that's it. I think we had an additional 3, which they'll get popped into there, and we'll come back to that one in just a second. You can see another problem that we've currently got at the moment is our toilets are actually starting to back up. Because we filled up the line with all of the water, this water sieve has got nothing to do. So it can't actually do it, and now the toilets are backing up. Because it's a water positive process, they tend to pee out more than we've got in the loop. So eventually there's an overflow. Now the way that we can deal with this is we can put it into a tank. That's what we're going to do. We're going to get a liquid reservoir tank. And we're going to take one of these pipes. And what we're going to say is, if water can't be put into this input, it will go to the next one, which will jump over here. And we'll take a liquid bridge. We'll jump over the export of the clean water. And it will come into this tank on this side. Now I'm going to set this to a slightly higher priority because it is blocking some of our toilets, which Oko is clearly desperate to get this done, which is pretty handy. And then we'll come back to that. So as you can see here, Jeff is now starting to groom this hatch, which is pretty nice. Getting a little bit of TLC, which is pretty good. There we go. So he's still wild at the moment, but you can see that... Where's the one that's been groomed? There we go. The wildness is starting to reduce. Minus 55% for being groomed, which is perfect. So in a couple cycles, it will be tamed, and we can actually then see how long it's going to be until it produces an egg or anything like that. And in this incubator, we're going to put the stone hatchling egg as well. Stick that to priority. I'll leave it at priority of 5. We haven't got that many jobs on the go at the moment. There we go. So all of that extra polluted water that's coming out of the toilets is now going to go basically straight into that, which is pretty handy. And there we go. And once this backs up, we'll do something with it. I've left a couple spaces here because essentially what I do want to grab in the future, and I don't think we've seen any yet, is actually some reed fiber, which is pretty important. You use this polluted water. There they are. It's a thimble reed. So thimble reeds will eat polluted water, which you can see just over here. It uses 160 kilograms of polluted water per cycle when it's domesticated. So that's what we're going to try and grab, but I don't think we can. Maybe we can, actually. Just thinking, because we got the slime lung with germ overlay, we don't really want to deal with that. But we could actually dig in here, which I think I'm going to do. So let's go to the germ overlay quickly. You can dig in here. There we go. Avoid all the slime lung where possible. And then let's dig up that thimbleweed. Harvest. Essentially everything. Cool. And the dupes will do that in between it. Our dupes have actually come in here and dug up this thimbleweed, which gave us 2 seeds, which is perfect. But what I kind of like about this build that we've just done now is you can see there's water in this one tile, even this tile over here, but this one in particular, because it's the only tile that's really blocking the entrance here, water or liquid and gas can't be in the same tile, which is pretty handy because you can see all of this carbon dioxide, for example, is not actually dropping through into this section here. And the same thing with the polluted oxygen. It can't get past this liquid. So we've built a little liquid lock, which is pretty handy. What we're going to do is we're just going to stick a brick here. Nah, we might just leave that there, actually. Yeah, that'll be fine. So next up, we want to have somewhere to put these thimble reeds. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to food, grab some hydroponic farms. You can make this out of either copper or iron, but I'm going to do copper for now. Place 2 of them down there. Also then grab some liquid pipes, plumb them into this. Once those are built, we can then come over here and we can select any seeds that we want. For this case, it's the thimbleweed. We'll do it for the other one as well. And then we can always just sweep up that little extra there. And you can see that polluted water's gone over and starting to fill up these hydroponic tiles, which you can see there. 5 kilograms at 27C. They should be okay. For the moment, the body temperature is 22, and they'll start growing, which is quite nice. Domesticated growth is 2 cycles, so they will produce a lot very quickly, which is quite nice. Our stone hatchling egg is currently incubating. which is perfect. At the moment, it doesn't really get a bit of a boost for being in the incubator. You need to actually power the incubator in order to have a dupe come along and basically boost it up as well. So for now, it's just going to take a little while. Actually, what are you doing out here? Just managed to find another one, which is pretty neat. We're just trying to finish up this last ranch here. But we're in a bit of a weird situation where we don't want the chlorine or the hydrogen that are in these two caverns essentially to leak on into the base. So we've been building these blocks diagonally, but we're in a bit of a strange situation where if we just replace this tile, we'll end up flooding our base with chlorine. So we're going to be even more creative. And what we're actually going to do is build that tile first. We're then going to deconstruct this tile. And then we have the ability to jump up here and actually build this tile without having any of this escape, which could be quite fun. So we'll see Oko is coming to deliver, coming to do all of this, and then we can replace that tile there. It's a bit of a strange way to do it, but it seems to work. Oko's just come back to finish the job. Very nicely done. And then we can build these blocks without having to worry at all. So another concern that we've currently got at the moment is you can see that these storage bins and the critter feeders are not actually filling up. We've got a little bit of food available in there, but we actually don't have a lot of sedimentary rock. Now, we have loads of sandstone, granite, igneous rock, all of those, but not sedimentary. And the reason for that is sedimentary rock tends to be found in these kind of biomes, like the swampy biomes. So you can see there's loads of sedimentary rock over here. And one good way of actually trying to find it is by going to the materials overlay and clicking mineral. You can see this blue basically shows you where all of those rocks are. So you can see most of it tends to loom around these kind of biomes. Now, we have a good chunk over here, so that's what I'm going to collect, because we want to make sure that we can at least get stone hatches up and running. We do have the one, which is really important for us. That is going to change the game a little bit. But what we're also going to do as well is we're going to wait for the evening to come to a close, have someone get to sleep, and we're going to send them over to the new planet. That'll be fun. While our dupes are sleeping, we're going to make some improvements to our coal situation, our coal generators. And how we're going to do that is we're going to move it down here, which will give us a little bit more power for these incubators, which we do want to use these to get our base up and running. But we also want to take advantage of a new station, which is the power control station. Now, what this power control station does is it actually takes refined metal and it gives any form of power generation, besides a few like solar panels, but it will actually give them the tune-up trait, which gives an extra 50% power, which is crazy, actually. So what we're going to do is we're going to move our power situation down here. There we go. Just the copy-paste method is really easy to use. So we're going to do that. And what we'll do is we'll throw in this here as well. We don't have to, so we probably leave it actually. But just in case we wanted to dig down there. There we go. So we'll do this. And then what we can do later on as well, we can automate this a little bit more by actually having an auto sweeper just over here, which will be able to help supply these coal generators, which we're going to eventually build once one of our guys is actually a mechatronics engineer, which at the moment it looks like Duct is going to be going that way. I think he's the only one that's kind of getting close, so we'll lead him towards it. But for now, we're actually going to get someone to go over... Hang on, what's Pixel doing? Which schedule is Pixel on? We want Pixel to go with. Oh yeah, they're early morning, so we're going to come over here to the transporter So we can have a look, we can click see destination, and we can see that this is our destination on our solar map. That is actually quite a distance away. But we can have a look at what this has got. So the world traits, like we saw in the beginning, they're randomly generated, which is quite nice. But this one comes with metal rich, so there's a lot of metal ore. Medium boulders makes it a bit difficult. They're a bit hard digging. The light, I think, is actually better than our main colony's lights. Yeah, you can see. So this is 20,000 lux. This is 3,500 lux. It's really quite good. And some of the geysers that come with it. Natural gas, liquid sulfur, hydrogen, and oil. Oil is a nice one to have on either one of your planets. So that's really quite good. And what meteors you can get from it: copper, icy, and slimy. And all the different biomes as well. So actually having a tundra biome is pretty cool. And then we can oversee the planetoid. Ooh, that's a lot of chlorine. That's a lot of chlorine for some reason. So we can see everything that's going on here. There's a neural vacillator there. That's nice. Even temperature overlay, you can see it's a pretty darn cold planetoid. So we're going to come back over here. We're going to get Pixel to jump into the teleporter. And what you can do with these kind of buildings is you can actually click inspect, which will give you a bit more of an entry that you can go through and read, but it gives you data banks as well. Which we're just going to go over here, click inspect on all of these where we can. There we go. Come on, Pixel. Hello. And teleport. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. So let's pause for a second because it didn't put us in the center of our screen. So there is a lot going on here. We can see that straight away, and this is always something good to have a look for, is you can see the abyssalites is here broken here, which means all this cold temperature is actually going to leak in. I don't think we have any more breaks. Don't think so. There's a break technically there. Yeah, there's a lot of breaks actually. But this is the most important one. So to start with, what we're going to do is just dig our way to the teleporter. That's the primary thing that we want to deal with. And then we're kind of just looking for stuff. So we can see there's a cold generator over here, which is nice to have. This is the teleporter outputs. So if we want to send items to this colony, we can. We need to know where the teleporter input is, which is just there, which is pretty handy. So how are we going to get to this break is the question. Let's dig this way. Gonna just prioritize. Oh yeah, she's got it. She's got it. She knows what she's doing. There we go. And then I'm just having a look. We kind of want to dig down this way. Dig up where we can. And then I might end up doing a little bit of corner building to try and get rid of this abyssalite break. But this mud's going to fall, which is never quite fun. So let's speed up for Pixel so that she can get through this quite quickly. All this mud's falling down, which is so painful when you're trying to dig. I know how she must be feeling. Alright, thank you, Pixel. So, corner building. We haven't got a lot of tiles, but I think we've got enough. Let's go ahead and get a tile. We'll place it there and then there. We want to push that water over, if possible. We also might need to grab a couple ladders, just to start with. She's not happy because she's got hypothermia because this water is pretty cold. It's never as cold as I think it would be to give you hypothermia, which I always thought was quite funny. But it's neither here nor there. There we go. So she's done that bit of corner building. How are we going to get this done? So we dig out this section, dig out this section, dig out that section. Get that other tile built. There we go. So we got some sleet wheat growing, which is pretty handy actually. Insulated tiles. I'm going to start from the abyssalite. Can you actually build that? Wow, you can. Get her to build those. They do take a while because they have a lot of material behind them. There we go. Pixels managed to finish the insulated tiles. So we're just going to send her straight home. See you later, Pixel. That never looks good. There we go. So Pixels arrived on this side, which is perfect. They've done a good job over here. So what we need to do is start finishing up some of the automation and everything that we had going on there. It's going to be a similar design. We just extend it a bit. That's really it. And what we're going to have here is on the power side, we're going to start replacing some of the base wires eventually with the refined metal. But for now, it's going to have its own little power line, which we'll just do like that. And we'll bring this one over and we'll plug it into the incubator. Smart battery, we're just going to do the same thing. We're just going to keep its settings of 80 and 20. I think that will be no problem at all. Okay, we're going to dig that as well, which is pretty good. Need the electrical engineering skill, which is fine because I believe we've got... Doctor's going to go into that eventually. Oh, Deoxys has got something. Nice. Looking at the ranch over here at the moment, we have 8 critters in here, which is the max that we can hold. And you can see that all these hatches are saying that they're cramped, which means this room will become overcrowded once all the nearby eggs hatch. And this reduces their reproduction rate by 100%. And it's because we have this one hatchling egg right here. So what we're going to do, we're going to move that out of the ranch and hope for the best. And once they take that away, you can see all these are very happy. Now, this is a very manual way of doing it, and I think that's how we're going to start. But once we get mechatronics engineering up, what we're going to do is we're going to have these auto sweepers in place. And essentially, we'll just place them down there. So we can't do anything about it at the moment, but that will sort out all those issues and it will help top up these critter feeders as well. So that's not as manual. So our power station over here is starting to come into play. You can see it's actually a power plant room, which allows us to use the power control station, which again, we can't do at the moment because of the electrical engineering, but that'll work out. And the reason why we're doing this is because we want the incubator over here to be powered, but you don't need it powered for too long, because essentially what we're going to do is let's take the power cable and connect it. You can see that it is now currently incubating. So if we click the stone hatch egg, you can see it doesn't actually do that much. It just gives you the 5% base, which you've got anyway. You can see you've got that from this one over here. But it allows Jeff to come over here and actually give the stone hatch a lullaby. There you go. So once Jeff's left, you can have a look. The lullaby says that it increases the incubation rate by 400%. And that lasts for 1 cycle. And the downside here is it's currently drawing 240 watts all the time. We don't want that to happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab a cycle sensor. This sends a green signal and a red signal within a cycle, essentially, a day-night cycle. And what we're going to do is we're going to place that just there. I'm going to grab some automation and link it up to the incubator. And we'll get these guys to build that fairly quickly. So once Gavin's finished that one, he can head back off to the kitchen. And you can see here on the cycle sensor, at the moment, it's emitting green the entire cycle, which is not what we want. All we want to do is once per cycle, have enough time for Jeff to come over, hug the egg, give it the lullaby buff, and then walk away. So we're going to juice this by quite a bit. We're going to reduce it to, let's say, about 10%. And what we want to do is just make sure that we're not activating it while Jeff is asleep. So we can come over to schedule. We can see that Jeff is about to go to sleep now. So the activation time, I think, is okay if we move it just so that when he wakes up, this will be one of the first things that he can do. So we'll fast forward here a little bit. We actually have new principles, so let's have a look at that actually, in case we can find an additional dupe. Whoa, that is a huge excavation buff with mole hands, but unconstructive. So you really do want to have a dupe that can build and dig, essentially. You aren't too bad as well, actually. You know what? We'll take Marie. We'll take Marie. And what we're going to do is we're going to grab someone from the Discord again. Welcome to the colony. We have enough mess tables, I believe, for them. We have enough cots for them. And we have plenty of food. So welcome. Give them a skill. Give them improved carrying. Perfect. So what we'll be able to see here is once Jeff has finished having his nap, he should be able to come back and lullaby this egg. Now, the lullaby is only going to last for 0.7 cycles remaining. And one thing I'm not actually sure, I've not looked at this before, is can they just top up the lullaby? Or does it have to essentially run out? So we'll work that out together. At the moment, Jeff hasn't come to hug it, and it still has 0.6 seconds left of the cycle. So what we'll do is we can just change that activation time to essentially kind of be around that section. It doesn't matter too much. You just work it out how you feel fit, and I think we could probably reduce this activation time to about 5% as well. So we'll come back and we'll have a look once this lullaby drops off. So we can see over here, the stone hatchling egg is about to lose its lullaby state in about 5 seconds. So what we can do as soon as that stops, we can then go to the cycle sensor. We kind of got it right, and then we can change the activation time if we wanted to pretty much capture it as soon as it left that. But this tends to only be for when you set it up. As soon as there's a new egg in there, it will basically work off your cycle sensor. So you can see it is now just incubating. And what's going to happen is any second now, it's going to ding on. And then Jeff is going to come running wherever he may be. Jeff's currently storing things. Let's see, what's he doing? There you go. He's coming to sing to the egg. And then it will give it that lullaby state. Which... it's getting very close. The incubation is at 83%. There's a very good chance it's probably going to finish by the end of this cycle. So I think we're going to leave it there, and you can see the cycle sensors just dropped off. But I think that's a good amount of progress on the episode. We managed to fix the toilet overflow to give us some thimble reeds, some water. We've got some ranches, a power station, and we've explored a little bit of the other planet. So, with that, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you've got any suggestions for the colony or anything you'd like to see, definitely let me know in the comment section down below. I do read through those as well. And I will catch you all in the next one. Bye for now.